All right. First thing actually was funny. I was going to ask. Running is going to be a big part of the Maze Runner.
Did you just overhear that?
No, actually, well, that was my first question going to be because the thing is, you're running. You have to run through a maze. I'm sure you're not strolling. You're not picking daisies.
No.
You got to get through the maze, and
Yeah.
it's and that was
It's
my
actually
thing.
a main rule of maze runners. They're never stop running is the number one rule of runners.
And like you said, they didn't check your run out. They didn't know if
No, isn't that
you
funny?
had like a little girly run where you throw it out. Maybe, or, I mean, even the Teen Wolf run has to be different because you have to. I'm guessing
I don't know.
wolfish run maybe has a different run to it.
I mean,
don't know.
on Teen Wolf, I'm allowed to just run however I want because I'm not a wolf, so I can just be geeky and gangly and weird. And this one too, I was allowed to just run how I run, which is really floppy and everywhere. Because it works, I'm not supposed to be a superhero or anything. It's supposed to be ordinary, kids in extraordinary circumstances. So like, I think my running's the perfect, the perfect kind of running for that because it's just overwhelmed constantly.
How do they explain to you the size of the maze in height and in how big it is when they first talk to you?
Wes is really, the director is he's got a really good feel for kind of explaining what's in his head, which is a lot. But he actually has a really good way of communicating that, and so he was always really on top of making sure we knew how high the walls were, making sure we knew, like how high they were going to be, like what this was going to look like, what the grievers were going to be. He always tried to give us something to react to. He was always really good with that. Whether it was literally just him on a with a blowhorn and he's just like talking us through it, whether it was that. Or guys dressed up in blue suits that we were fighting, with spears. He always gave us something that we could at least act with, or he gave us the idea, of what it would be at least.
Before production started, were you thinking it was gonna be like Indiana Jones running from like a ball coming down of all these traps and different things? What did your mind first think of when it was the Maze Runner and how things could happen?
No, funny enough, I didn't really know what to expect, and but then after seeing the movie though, like it has like an Indiana Jones feel to it, which is really cool because Indiana Jones was one of my favorite movies growing up, and again, Wes is like really influenced by those movies and like by things like Star Wars, and I don't know, he's just the movie feels very much that way, like one of those timeless action adventure movies, and I think it's got everything to do with that guy right there, so.